Two players with England on their minds, Sam Robson and Owen Morgan, both scored heavily on the second day of the LV County Championship match between Middlesex and Nottinghamshire at Lord's, a day on which the home side came storming back. Middlesex had reduced their visitors to 315 for 8 on day one, and Notts could only add 11 more before being bowled out. Another player who would love to don the three lions again, Stephen Finn, secured his second fifer in 2 innings this summer when Andy Carter edged him to David Milan. And then Tim Murtagh finished off the job by removing Luke Fletcher for 25, Chris Rogers with a catch off a skyer. Nottinghamshire were all out for 326, Finn finishing with 5 for 91. Peter Siddle opened the bowling from the nursery end for his new county, but it was Fletcher who soon had his side on top. He had Rogers held by Samit Patel for 15, and 4 balls later he produced a good one to find the edge of Milan's bat as he went for a duck at 19 for 2. Robson and Morgan then steadied the ship before lunch, although Carter thought he trapped Robson in front in the final over of the morning session. If that had been a balanced session, the afternoon one certainly belonged to Middlesex, as they had their best time of the season to date. In what had become ideal conditions to bat in, with a very short boundary towards the grandstand, Robson and Morgan began to make hay. Robson, of course, had a tremendous time with the Lions in the winter, and he's many people's favourite to be opening the batting for England with Alistair Cook come the first test in June. After a couple of failures in the heavy defeat to Sussex last week, this knock will have certainly improved his chances. Morgan, meanwhile, rejected the chance to play in the IPL to show that he means business when it comes to restoring his place back in the England Test team. He too had a miserable time at Hove last week, but these conditions were well suited for batting, and he was soon making the most of things as he neared what would become his first-class 50 for nearly 2 years. Robson, meanwhile, worked Harry Gurney to leg to secure his first 50 of the summer, one which had used up 91 deliveries, that shot bringing him his 7th boundary. Morgan was now confident enough to delve into his box of tricks, or from the one marked improvisation. And he was not too far behind his partner in making it to the half-century mark, a rarity for him in LV County Championship cricket over the last few years. After all, he hasn't played that much. This 50 took him 86 balls to achieve, from which he'd found the boundary 7 times. And with him batting like this and Robson looking as solid as a wall at the other end, Nottinghamshire may have started to wonder where their next wicket was coming from. Robson really made a name for himself last season locally, but nationally he became better known for his exploits with the Lions in the cold months. He only qualified for England this time last year, and is now very much at the front of the England selectors' minds, and it's easy to see why. He has a very sound technique and all the shots in the book, and he's making a habit of scoring big once he gets himself in. All very good signs for his immediate future. He knows what's at stake this year, but was still able to produce a knock as good as this one, his 100 being reached with a single off his 170th delivery. It had included 14 fours and was just the 12th ton of the 24-year-old's career. Australia's loss is looking to be England's gain right now. Now it was a matter of whether Morgan could match him. He moved into the 80s as the partnership approached 200. Robson took it beyond that, and at this stage, Nottinghamshire's 326 was beginning to look a little below par on this surface, not what many would have thought at the start of this day. After 53 overs of trying, the visitors did finally break through. Morgan furious at himself for edging Gurney behind, 14 short of his ton, but it was his biggest first-class score in 27 innings, dating back to 2011, and the best in this competition for 5 years. Adam Rossington had had a long wait to get in and looked to get on with it when he did, here pulling Gurney over the short boundary for 6. But it was just a cameo. On 8, he was LBW to Carter and left with his side on 237 for 4. 20 overs were still left, and for the last 10 of them, Nottinghamshire would have the second new ball and Siddle. Alas for them, they were to have no more joy as Robson went on and on, now in partnership with John Simpson. Indeed, Siddle's first bowling county cricket saw him send down 19 overs, which went for 70 runs and were wicketless. He will have many better days than this one, especially at Trent Bridge, that's for sure. By the close, these two batsmen have put on an additional 59 runs to put Middlesex ahead at the halfway point of this contest. In terms of runs, they are still behind and they will start day 3 30 runs adrift, but with 6 wickets in hand, they will fancy their chances of getting a lead which may put Nottinghamshire under pressure, especially with Robson still going strongly on 144, made in nearly 6 hours at the crease.